Are you a parent with a teenage driver? I'm talking to you. This is important. I want you to pay attention. My name is Brian Calandra. I'm a senior partner here at Ramos Law. I have a 15-year-old daughter who's recently started driving on a permit. Scares the hell out of me, right? Look what I do for a living. I help people that are in car crashes. Parents, here's why I'm talking to you. First of all, we've seen a spike in teenage fatalities here in Colorado. It's not good. These kids are on their cell phones. They're not paying attention. We've seen a spike in single vehicle accidents with teenagers, meaning they're not crashing into cars. They're just crashing their vehicles because they're not paying attention. And so we don't want this to happen to our kids. We don't want to be that parent that gets that phone call. You don't want to be my client when it comes to your teenage driver. So I highly recommend you keep a close eye on them. Drive with them as much as you can so that they can learn and get experience and become better drivers, because they are terrible. But here's the thing. You're financially responsible for their behavior. Those of you that have teenage drivers, I'm sure you know when they went to get their driver's license, you had to sign an affidavit of responsibility, which basically says, hey, I'm assuming financial responsibility for this driver. Ironically, I also learned that you can go to the DMV and withdraw that consent, and your kid's driver's license is suspended immediately. No appeal, no hearing, whatever there. It happens in real time. So if you have a teenager and they drive like a moron, you can go and withdraw their license just by going to the DMV. Then there's another thing called the family car doctrine. Okay, the family car doctrine basically says, hey, if my kid's driving around in my car, I can end up being responsible for that as well. Now, generally speaking, in Colorado, an owner of a car does not have what we call owner liability, meaning someone borrows your car, they can't necessarily sue you for what happens unless, there's always an unless with lawyers, right? Unless you have something called negligent entrustment. What is that? Well, the guy I gave my car to has 5 drunk driving convictions. I knew it. I let him use my car. He was drunk and he went and hurt people. You're going to get sued for that. And so my point here is really, really simple. Not only do you not want your kid to get injured, none of us want that. We don't want them to injure others. We don't want that either. And we sure as heck don't want our assets to become at risk because of something our teenagers are doing, and it's unavoidable. In Colorado, you are exposed for what your kid is doing. And so parents, I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I'm a practical parent. Practical because I remember being a teenager myself, and practical because I understand just human beings in general. Maybe you have that perfect kid. Maybe you have that goody two-shoes who's never made a mistake, never does nothing wrong. They're rare. And even if you think you have one, you probably don't. And that's where I become the practical parent. These kids, they're out there, they're doing things, they're making bad choices. We try our best to protect them. But at the end of the day, if your kid is driving, keep a close eye on them. Keep a close eye on who they're driving with, where they're going, where's their cell phone, all of that kind of stuff. And for God's sakes, teach them not to text. And just ask them, do you really think there is any text you're going to read or send that is worth your life? Because I can tell you, here at Ramos Law, we have seen catastrophic injuries. We have seen deaths among teenagers that have made that choice. And folks, I'm not talking about being one of those annoying helicopter parents that tries to monitor every little thing that your kid does. That's annoying, right? But there are tools out there that we as parents can use to keep an eye on things, right? Some of you are probably using them already. There's that app called Life 360. The one thing I like about that one is it not only shows, your kid is driving, but it also shows how fast they're going. In fact, this happened in a case in Michigan, which is my home state, in a town called Grosse Pointe. If you ever saw the movie Grosse Pointe Blank, yeah, that one. So a kid, teenage driver, ended up killing someone. And the mom got sued because she knew, based on data that she had been getting from the app, that her kid had been driving like an idiot more than once, and she didn't do anything to stop him. And so there are tools out there that you can use. You can use Find My Friends on your phone to know where your kid is at and what they're doing. And quite frankly, there's probably better apps out there that I haven't even heard of. But do the research. Keep an eye on them and let them know you're keeping an eye on them. If you see your kid has been driving 90 in a 55, yank their license. Take the car away, because if they're doing that, they're just going to end up in trouble. Do I like the fact that next April my kid's going to have her driver's license? You bet I do. After years and years of lugging her around to practices and this and that, and you know it, right? You're a gosh darn chauffeur. Of course we want our kids to have that driver's license. We want them to go to the grocery store for us and grab us the milk and the eggs when we need something. We want them to pick up the dry cleaning or whatever it is. But it comes at a price. That fear, that risk, right? And I'm a personal injury attorney, so I'm terrified. But I think at the end of the day, There are things we can do. There are tangible things we can do, actions that we can take that'll decrease the risk for our kids, and we've got to do it. I hope this message is well received. If you have questions, you can reach out to me. Again, my name is Brian Calandra. I'm a senior partner here at Ramos Law. My email is brian@ramoslaw.com. You can hear in my voice, you can see in my eyes, I am passionate about this subject. I have a 15-year-old daughter that's about to get a driver's license. I'm an attorney that sees how these teenage drivers are destroying either themselves, other people, or other families. And it's heartbreaking. I don't want it to happen to you. I don't want it to happen to your family. I don't want it to happen to anyone. Let's do what we can. Let's make a difference together. You take care.